Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm here with my follow-up to Stamp Wars 8. We had Stamp Wars 8 on Saturday night and our sponsor was Kitchen Sink Stamps. Let's get started. Our stamp was the Winter Cardinals by Kitchen Sink Stamps, a multi-layering stamp set. I'm going to show you the cards that I created. I was the host, so I did not participate in the competition this time, but I did create some cards and a video as a follow-up to showcase this fantastic stamp set. Please stay tuned to my entire video. There will be a giveaway involved, and I'll have details on how you can be eligible for my giveaway later on in this video. Let's get started. I have a piece of accent opaque 80-pound cardstock. I'm going to use that as my card panel. And I have several inks from several different manufacturers. I'm going to be using an embossing folder, which was part of the regulations this time with Stamp Wars. I'm going to be making two cards, and I'm not going to be using red for one of the colors of my birds, Cardinals. So there'll be a blue jay and an oriole. What I'm showing you is the stamp alignment guide and the color recipe cards. These are available through the Kitchen Sink Stamps website. Stamp alignment guides are included with every stamp set that's sold. I'm going to start with VersaFine Clair Pine Cone, and I'm going to stamp the branch of the pine bough. This is basically your classic evergreen tree. It does have pine cones as well as the greenery, but this layer is the most detailed layer. It's going down on the darkest color, and then all other layers will build upon this. This has some pine cones. Sorry, my head is in the camera, but I was trying to get a good alignment. And for this layer, I'm using Memento Toffee Crunch, which is a nice light brown. And together, those two colors really do look very realistic with your pine cones. Next, we have our first layer of greenery. I'm going to be using Cottage Ivy from Memento. I will go ahead and stamp that, and then the area that has the little pine cone, I'm going to wipe off with my finger because I want to be able to go in and keep that as brown as possible instead of stamping over it with green. So I'm just using my finger and cleaning my finger on my microfiber towel, and that keeps it brown like a pine cone. You don't have to do that step, it's just something that I wanted to do. It's important that you clean your stamps after each step, even though you might be in a rush and not think about it and just put them back in the position of the set that they came in, but it definitely will maintain your stamps longer. This layer is going to be Bamboo Leaves by Memento, and there are no pine cone impressions on this layer, so I can just go over the full thing with the full stamp with my bamboo leaves, and that is done. Now we will do the cardinal, which is going to be a blue jay. There are four different layers. This first layer, which is the most detailed layer, and I'm going to be stamping this with VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink, which is a nice black pigment ink. One thing to remember when you're purchasing your kitchen sink stamps is to grab the SVG file that goes with the stamp set. It's free if you grab it and put it in your cart at time of purchase. It will show as 99 cents or a dollar, but when you go to checkout, that price goes away. So they're complimentary SVG files. The next layer is going to be the body of the bird, including the feathers, and I'm going to be stamping this with VersaFine Clair Medieval Blue, but I am going to stamp off. So I have a piece of Post-it paper, stamping the stamp stamping onto the Post-it paper, removing the Post-it paper. Don't wipe your ink off. Whatever ink remains, stamp onto your image. Okay? And that gives you so that it's not too dark. And that's one way to help stretch your inks. If you don't have that many inks, you can stamp off in between layers and stretch them. This next layer, and these align easily. You just need to find the point on the tail feather, um, the crest, as well as the beak and the feather on the bird's back. These are the points that help you to align. This is called Danube Blue. It is by Memento ink. I'm going to stamp off. So my first layer, I will stamp on my Post-it paper. And then directly after that, I will remove the Post-it paper. Don't clean the ink off the stamp and just stamp right there onto my panel. And that turned out really nice. My last layer, I'm going to be using Summer Sky by Memento. This is the layer with the least amount of detail, and you want this to be your lightest color. I'm stamping in reverse order, so I'm starting with the darkest color, the most detail first, and then I'm working my way backwards. One of the things about those SVG files, as I was telling you, they're for cutting machines such as Scan and Cut, Cricut, Silhouette, electronic die cutting machines, and they replace traditional dies. So it does save you a lot of money, and it also saves you a lot of space because you don't have to worry about storing dies. You can have them saved onto your computer. Just remember, put the SVG file in your cart. When you go to checkout, it'll be free. Otherwise, if you go back later to buy, then you do have to pay for the SVG. All right, now we've got our Blue Jay stamped, and I'm going to next die cut. I have a die made by Spellbinders, which is a fancy oval, and I've already die cut that. I went off screen and did that. I paused my recording and did that. I'm using Snowflakes by Sizzix as my embossing folder. I'm using the Summer Sky ink, and I'm just dragging that along this is a 3D embossing folder, so the snowflakes are pronounced and the die highlights those snowflakes. I'm trimming my panel down, and I'm going to then adhere my panel to a piece of black card base. This is an A2 card. I trimmed my snowflake embossing folder down to 4 by 5 1/4. Now we've got our oval with our stamped image. I'm just going to glue this down, and I'm going to grab some rhinestones just to put a finishing touch on this project. The way the oval is die cut, the oval die cut is, it has like a little marquee or keystone at the top and the bottom. So I just have a little bit of art glitter glue. I'm grabbing a light blue rhinestone, putting one at the top and putting one at the bottom. And that's how I created my first card. I think it turned out really nice. I'm really pleased with it. And it's going to be one of my favorite stamp sets by Kitchen Sink Stamps, I can tell. Because you can use this for birthday, sympathy, thinking of you, missing you. In fact, I grabbed another stamp set that I have, the Daisies stamp set, and I used the happy birthday sentiment from that, which is what I was just showing you about 5 seconds ago. So I just wanted to encourage you to make sure you check out Stamp Wars, and make sure you check out the other folks that participated in Stamp Wars: Nancy, Stacy, Ryan, and Chow. I will have their channels listed below. They too are having giveaways, and Nancy is actually going to be giving away this exact stamp set, Winter Cardinals, on her channel on Saturday night. But in order to be eligible, you have to comment. So, in order to be eligible for my prize, you have to comment, give me a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel. In order to be eligible for Nancy's prize, you need to find her video, watch it, and she will give you instructions as to how you will qualify for her prize, which is the actual stamp set. It's a brand new stamp set. Our sponsor, Maria at Kitchen Sink Stamps, provided it as a courtesy for the grand prize winner. But each of us are going to be giving away a prize pack, and we'll have our drawing on Saturday night on Nancy's YouTube channel. So you definitely want to mark your calendars, participate, and check that out on Saturday night. The bird that I'm stamping right now is a little bit smaller than the first bird, and the evergreen branch is a little bit smaller than the original evergreen branch that I stamped, but I'm using the same color recipe. I started off with VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. Then I went in with Toffee Crunch by Memento, followed by Cottage Ivy by Memento, and my final layer is Bamboo Leaves by Memento. And that's how I stamped that branch. And the bird that I'm stamping is an oriole, and I start with Memento, sorry about that, VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. I started the oriole with that color. Then I used VersaFine Clair for the second layer, and I have this pretty orange color. It's called Summertime. I stamped off first before stamping onto my card panel. I'm having a little problems here with my video editing software, so hopefully all this is coming through clearly. I also used Memento for the third and fourth layers of the oriole, and I used Memento Tangelo, and I stamped directly to the project the first time I used it, and the second time I used it for the final layer, I stamped off, which is what I said about stretching your inks, because I don't have that many orange inks between the VersaFine Clair and the Memento. So this gave me some options. Just wanted to encourage you to make sure you check out the description box below. I'll have links to not only Kitchen Sink Stamps website and blog, but also links to the other FSC design team members, Nancy, Ryan, Stacy, and Chow. You can check out their YouTube channels and subscribe to their YouTube channels as well. Enter into their contests for their giveaways. And make sure that you stay tuned on Saturday night for when we announce who the winners are of the giveaways. I have this cream colored cardstock that I'm going to put in the Sizzix lumber. I'm using Catherine Puller icing on the cake ink, and I basically drug that on the inside of my embossing folder and ran it through my die cut machine. And you can see that it provides a wood grain type background. I'm using black card base, and I'm just going to finish putting this card together. Oh, one more important thing, to be eligible for my prize, Please leave a comment below telling me what is your favorite bird. Also, please note that Kitchen Sink Stamps has provided us with a coupon code. That coupon code is FSC8, Foiling Snobs Club 8, which stands for the number of Stamp Wars that we've had. This is Stamp Wars 8, FSC8. Coupon expires at midnight Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday, January 20th, 2021. So I'm going to slow down and let you watch still photos of each card, pulling them all together here so you can see the 4 cards that I made. I love this set. I think these cards are fantastic for any occasion. You can't go wrong with this set. Not only can you create Cardinals, but you can create Blue Jays and Orioles and yellow birds and brown birds and any color birds you'd like. And using this sort of die cut technique just gives it such a classy look, I think. And you can use an oval die cut for the large bird and a circle die cut for the small bird, or you can put them both on the same panel at the same time. And you'll have to check out the other design team members to see how they created their cards. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a hopeful day. Bye bye.